Kadri, do you think that if amnesty is given to Boko Haram who are willing to surrender their arms, do you think that will embolden the bigger body of Boko Haram?
It certainly would embolden them. I do not think granting amnesty to terrorists is a solution to this problem. Boko Haram is one of the most prominent terrorist groups around the world. Every security agency around the world has Boko Haram on their radar. It's in the database of every intelligence body around the world. For the Nigerian government to now turn around and offer Boko Haram an olive branch is rather, as someone whose community, my background is in intelligence, I find it very, very odd for the president to make such a move. I do not think we should offer them an olive branch. We should deal with the problem the way it ought to be dealt with, and that is decisively and disseminating the terrorist network to its taproot. I do not believe in
the government has said that Boko Haram has been largely degraded. So
well, if they've been degraded, we're still seeing a whole lot of Boko Haram terrorist activities in the northeast and in other African countries. So what are we talking about? They've not been decimated, in my own opinion. They have not.
Let's talk about the Dapchi girls now. Concerns have been raised in some quarters, especially the parents, where they, as a matter of fact, said that they were very concerned that in broad daylight the girls were taken away, and in broad daylight the girls were brought back, and nothing happened. That's the key word they had, that nothing happened. Do you consider this as victory flagging by the insurgents?
I don't consider it as victory, because from my side of the table, one of the things that is very, very important to me is the safe return of the girls that have been kidnapped. As a father, as a security expert, the moment it happens, the end result I want to see is that the children, whether in daylight, night, whether there are gunshots, whether there was no gunshot, is for them. My ultimate goal is for me to see all of them return safely back to their parent, and I think that has been done, and I really want to appreciate that. The module operandi of the old show, the way it went and everything, which is not open to us, I wouldn't want to use that to mess things up for the victory or ruin the happiness. My only concern is as all the necessary media being deployed, I'm putting that in quote, intelligence quote, to ensure that this does not repeat itself. Are we not going to have another village girl kidnapped? What are we putting in place?
Because that exactly is the fear of the parents when they say that they came in, took our girls, broad daylight, brought them back, broad daylight, and nothing happened. What guarantee is there that this will not happen, say, tomorrow? Let's get your thoughts.
I do not think there are any guarantees that this will not happen again, because the federal government seems to be taking the Dove approach in tackling this issue. You've given Boko Haram the illusion, or rather, that it can always happen again, because there seem to be a lot of lapses on the part of the federal government in tackling the Boko Haram problem. So I see the possibility of them going after soft targets and achieving their objectives, because we have not tackled this problem the way it ought to be.
Okay, let me follow up on this, because this Dapchi situation and the return of the girls is throwing up a lot of questions, one of which the president addressed. He said that they will be protected. He's talking about the girls now, that the girls will be protected, and indeed other schools will be protected in that region. Does this give the parents confidence that the children can the girls return back to school?
Well, since the creation of the state of emergency in the Northeast, and judging by what has happened since the state of emergency was declared, I think it is wrong for us to run a school in that environment now, if we have ever learned anything from what happened at Chibok. That is one. The army, sadly, has come out today to say that...
It would be wrong to run the school there.
No. For now, I think all children and school activities should be moved to neighboring states where we consider safe for now.
Okay, this seems to be in agreement with you, but let me get Kadri's thoughts. Let me read a quote. It's from Issa Sage, Senior Advocate of Nigeria, and he's indeed from the Presidential Advisory Committee Against Corruption, PACAC, and he said, as part of the solutions, so that the danger of kidnapping of these girls in the Northeast is limited, is to shut down all female schools in the region and distribute them to schools out of the zone under government responsibilities. Should that be explored, do you think?
Sounds cumbersome, but I think it's what has to be done. And it simply means the government has to accelerate its efforts in securing lives and property in the Northeast. So the sooner we get things done in terms of the protection of lives and property, the better for the parents, for the children to settle down and go back home.
So what signal is that pushing to Boko Haram?
It's a signal that, well, they have been able to score their points in terms of making life inconvenient for everybody out there, which is the whole idea. They've disrupted the educational infrastructure there. Boko Haram means Western education is forbidden. So they've achieved the objective. And
even when the government says that Boko Haram has been defeated, a defeated group achieving its purpose, how do you reconcile that?
Well, that brought us back to the first question you asked, bringing politics into a matter of reality. Maybe...
all this playing out is politics.
Maybe...
are you saying that all this playing out is politics?
Maybe Mr. President himself could be guilty of what he's accusing opposition party of. Saying, if he's saying that Boko Haram has been decimated and they still have the capacity to take out about 110 girls.